Don in London. Hello, it's April 18th, 2010. My video is all about recovery from addiction to either substance or behaviour. My substance of addiction, alcohol. So a recovering alcoholic, one day at a time. My behaviour, equally addictive towards people, places, things, work, relationships, collecting. So, what happened? Well, 35 years of drinking. And the first drink for me did do the damage. It changed the way I felt about me and my situation. It was the situation I was in, very young, in company, not quite understanding what grown-ups were doing, but they seemed jolly and happy, and I joined in. I just swiped a drink off the table and drank it, and everybody laughed, and I felt happy, relaxed and quite sleepy. And after that, I guess, I saw that there was a way out of my fear of I don't know what. I think I was always a fearful person. I always imagined the worst could happen, so my expectations were towards the worst of living rather than the best of living. So life was a battle. And these days I realise that life is not a battle, it's not a war, it's about living in the moment of now, simply understanding where I am today. And if I understand where I am today, what's going on, based on what happened yesterday and what's happening now, I can understand how I'm feeling, why, and what can I do. So it may seem simple when I say it like that, but when you're a complicated thinker and a complicated imaginer of what life can be, no such word as imaginer, I know. If we can be complicated in our understanding of life, because we're looking for the element which might trip us up, then we are probably useful in some trades, but not useful to ourselves. We don't get balance in life. We're always looking for the extreme possibility, the worst case scenario. And living life towards the worst case scenario means that we find it. So for me, in my drinking days, striving for perfection, striving for that place where there was a crack in the wall, or you name it, in the paintwork of my insides, where something could go wrong, I would imagine it, and dream it, and fear it. So these days I don't. Well, not to the same extent. You know, imagination is absolutely wonderful, as is fantasy, to imagine and to dream. Without it, where would we get our inspiration for the next step? And it is about progress. So we still need our inspiration, our dreams, and our understanding that life is possible and we have choices. So without a drink inside me, the fear diminishes daily. I understand it, where it's coming from. It's coming from something in the day rather than a great big mountain from the past. And the reason why I can do all these things is because I'm able to, with the help of people who understand what it's like to be sober. And those people for me are those who are in recovery and in a fellowship, and that fellowship is AA, Alcoholics Anonymous. Don't speak for it, never can, never will, don't want to. It would be wrong, though, to suggest that I can do recovery on my own, because I can't. I need emotional and spiritual support, so I can see how my feelings are and be in the moment of now, understanding what is going on in reality. And for me, that is the spiritual connection. It's as good as it gets right now. So how am I feeling today? Not too bad. Still not sleeping too well, but that's just me and my body clock, maybe. There's no fear. I've got nothing to fear right now. There's nothing going on. And there's no aeroplanes at the moment either in Europe. We are without them due to a volcano, and that's beyond my power. So Mother Nature is doing what it does. Anyway, AA, the fellowship, is it's a big part of my recovery, and the people in it who have wisdom, experience, strength and hope to share. And we share where we choose, some anonymously within the fellowship and some outside of it as life offers. And the reason for sharing here is to share a message of experience, strength and hope. Now, AA, what is it? I need to share about that. I share the statement of intent and also a reading or two about what is going on in the 12-step program, 12 steps of living, if you like, to make life possible and face reality as it is, or as best we can. So, first of all, AA. This is the statement of intent. Alcoholics Anonymous is a fellowship of men and women who share their experience, strength and hope with each other, that they may solve their common problem and help others to recover from alcoholism. The only requirement for membership is a desire to stop drinking. There are no dues or fees for AA membership. We are self-supporting through our own contributions. AA is not allied with any sect, denomination, politics, organisation or institution. Does not wish to engage in any controversy, neither endorses nor opposes any causes. Our primary purpose is to stay sober and help other alcoholics to achieve sobriety. So when we go to meetings of AA, we get to hear everyone, and it's really important to get a broad spectrum of views about what is going on, from somebody who is a newcomer to somebody who's been around for a few weeks or months or years, to old-timers who have been around for decades and are still going really well, one day at a time, simply the 24-hour day, just for today. I share from Daily Reflections, this book, which is a page a day of inspiration, or not inspiration, depending on how you're feeling, because sometimes we say, can't do that, don't like it, what a load of rubbish. But at the same time, if we read it, we're actually identifying what's going on in our own heads. Even if we're rejecting or denying things, we need to know it. So, how am I feeling today? I don't feel like denying anything. And the Daily Reflections is about the 12 steps of AA. Excuse me. Changing our attitude and behaviour. So January, step 1, all about powerlessness and life being unmanageable if we drink. February, step 2, all about being restored to sanity by a higher power, whatever that might be for you or for me. Step 3, letting go and letting good things happen again, or letting go and letting God help, or letting go and letting good conscience help. And then step 4, April, is all about doing the fearless moral inventory. And I always break up the word fearless into fearless inventory, because once we've actually done an inventory of our feelings and why we got to where we were, where we are today, we can then move on to living in the day and dealing with things as they manifest or happen now, rather than always worrying about, will somebody find me out? And the answer is no. The only person who can find us out really is us. We are what we are. And that reading today is really all about that. For April 18th, it says self-honesty. And it goes like this. The deception of others is nearly always rooted in the deception of ourselves. When we are honest with another person, it confirms that we have been honest with ourselves and with God, or our good conscience, as we choose to believe. When I was drinking, I deceived myself about reality, rewriting it to what I wanted it to be. Deceiving others is a character defect, even if it is just stretching the truth a bit or cleaning up my motives, so others would think well of me. My higher power, good conscience or God, can remove this defect, character defect. But first I have to help myself by becoming willing to receive that help, by not practicing deception. I need to remember each day that deceiving myself about myself is setting myself up for failure or disappointment in life and in Alcoholics Anonymous. A close, honest relationship with a higher power is the only solid foundation I found for honesty with self and with others. And when we look at that, it is about finding our own truth in the moment of now. That's spiritual. And knowing our feelings in the moment of now, so that we may deal with what is in front of us, and then we apply our thinking to it. Not the other way around, I suspect. But what helps me always is the serenity prayer to God or good conscience. As you understand your authentic and unique way of looking at the world, God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. And for me, it is always just for today.